My speech is on William Faulkner's speech when he accepted the Nobel Prize for Literature. William Faulkner's speech, when he accepted that award, was captivating indeed, and it was one of the best speeches recorded in human history. The reason for this is, well, for one, he gave a great deal of credit to the writers that were prior to him, giving credit to all those who take all the feelings that we experience and put them into the written form so that other people can to engage in it and grasp it and enjoy it. But also interesting too, and notably, was he was capturing in that speech the change in mankind after the world wars. Well, why? Because before the wars, the two world wars, people didn't think about the end of the world, being blown up by a bomb. Their lives were vastly different after those two wars. And he really captured what failed to be after that. Faulkner's speech not only exemplified what makes for a good speech, according to the Points of View debating article in 2013, when you develop an outline for you have to keep your audience in mind, and he did that. He spoke in very complicated terms, but he was speaking to a literary audience, people who were very well versed, who had vast vocabularies, so it was very appropriately done. And he made his speech brief but memorable, and he covered a few main points, but not too many points, which is another good speaking quality. But within that speech, Faulkner talked about of course, the new fears on the minds of individuals, and how these new fears crowded out some of the most basic feelings that the human experience involves. These feelings that are found deep within our hearts take a lot to express. But his speech highlighted that these feelings are no longer coming from our heart, but a more shallow place. He said the glands. From the glands to the mouth, it's a short trip, but from the heart to the mouth, that's much deeper and a lot more involved. So he was saying that since that time frame, because of fears, people were not expressing themselves, the true feelings and experiences of the human life. Personal struggles of the heart are no longer a vehicle to capture the emotions and feelings of the human experience. And he also stresses that to really know what it's like to be human, we have to really relearn the basics of our experiences and not worry about, are we going to be blown up, but the different struggles on a daily basis that make us who we are, what we go through. Experiences, as he highlighted, love and honor, pity and pride, compassion, sacrifice. These are what emanate from the heart. And he said until we can get back to that state, we labor under a curse. In fact, he says that the writer no longer writes of love, but of lust, of defeats in which nobody loses anything of value, of victories without hope, and worst of all, pity without compassion. So the feelings expressed in that era come from a lesser place, from the glands. And until a man relearns that place that he was before the wars, all the true grit of the human experience and struggle is just merely shallow. So when he expressed that when this last vestige of the war is gone, that man just endures and keeps talking. And that's very unacceptable. That man should not just endure, but prevail. He also concludes by saying that it's the writer's responsibility, really, to help people endure by lifting their heart, by reminding them of the courage and the honor and the hope and the pride and compassion and pity and sacrifice which have been the glory of his past. Truly, writing has changed. but Faulkner contends that we need to get back to a more basic state. So in conclusion, he compared beautifully in that speech pre-war era writing with post-war era writing and what was lost in translation. All of the love, the fear, the anger, pride, triumph, compassion, zeal, all of those things are not truly captured anymore in writing. So unless we can get back to those places, the true human experience is lost.